This is specifically in response to a video that I recently saw. It was talking about Lady Gaga's Judas single, and as much as her video was a joke, apparently, it's interesting. It does reflect a real reaction. As everybody's now aware, the single came out, the music video is supposedly very controversial and has upset a lot of people, particularly, religious types. Every generation has had, a handful of artists who push the buttons and enjoy pushing the buttons. Some of them do it actually quite accidentally. They don't even really intend to, they're just doing what they do, and other people see it for what it is. One of the more famous examples of what I'm talking about here, as far as outrage is concerned, is that rock and roll actually went on trial. We had the famous Judas Priest suicides. People actually committing suicide. So Judas Priest inspired was telling you to kill yourself. The Beatles was telling you to murder people. Marilyn Manson tells you to worship the devil. What else is there? Queen is recruitment for homosexuality. And this is then you have the more theatrical side of controversy, whereby the likes of the black metal band Cradle of Filth, The Who smashing up their instruments and it being really bad, Elvis Presley swinging his hips, Alice Cooper, full on stage horror, and now Lady Gaga, who is following in the footsteps of the likes of, in my opinion, Bowie, Madonna and Manson. And in actual fact, when she talks about entertainment and art, a lot of what she says does seem to come across like that. There have always been, through history, since entertainment began and art, it was a matter of time before things started to become subversive and people started to use it to actually say things. And whether you agree with it or not is also neither here nor there. Some people take the attitude that art and music should only be entertainment, light, gentle and easy listening, and that's it, and nothing should ever be remotely subversive about it. But I'm not of that opinion. I think that one of the duties of of an artist is to they have license to actually put things over and make points and say things. Otherwise, why do we read books? Why do we watch films? Why do we listen to music? Is it all just to be dance around and be entertained? I don't think so. I think that if light entertainment is your aim, that's fine, and I'm not against that. But I find this reaction to the most recent thing being Lady Gaga. I mean, she's seems to be taking over the world right now, and this Judas video is really, really upset people. But I saw the video and I was almost sort of disappointed. Now, I don't know if it's a desensitization thing, but I think these people need to understand that perhaps they don't have the frame of reference that people who listen to the music do. And that's always been the case. People who who aren't in the fan base, who aren't the target audience, or don't already know where the artist is coming from already, tend to sort of misinterpret the point of things. And you get all upset and outraged. But there's nothing to really be upset and outraged about. Shock comes and shock goes. All this nonsense about, you're corrupting young minds, you're telling young people to do this, that and the other. Rock and roll is the devil's music. You can't read this, you can't watch that, you can't, all this nut stuff. It's been going on now, for decades? And, despite the fact that the media has made the world smaller and we do hear about more bad things, and sometimes it does seem the world is a more desperate place, I'm of the honest opinion that the problems of the world are not, it cannot be, attributed to artists doing what they do. There's been controversial art, from way before I was born, and it's always been there. It's just what that generation will accept or allow. And therein is another argument. There's this thing of, oh well, yeah, but the standards are slipping. The standards are slipping. I don't know if it's so much that things are slipping. We are just accepting. We think about things differently. We're more, what was shocking to this generation isn't shocking anymore. It's not that the moral is slipping. It's that you need to push harder to get a reaction, or to to make a point. You need to be saying to be screaming it louder. At the end of the day, you have intelligent people and you have unintelligent people. You have the audience who are going to understand it and the audience who aren't going to understand it. You can't start having a go at somebody for doing a bit of a controversial music video. Not for the first time. I mean, Madonna, with her whole Black Jesus and burning crosses thing. I mean, I love the fact that having a Black Jesus is a controversial thing in itself. I find that says quite a lot. You have to bear in mind that, if you studied English at any point, you'll remember words like simile, metaphor, allegory, and the point I'm making there is that a lot of, for example, the Judas video is just using religion as a powerful platform. When you take it literally, for what it's presented. Oh, this must be what she's saying because this is what she's showing. It seems to me that people who react badly to these things aren't able to read between lines, aren't able to recognise subtext or allegory or symbolism or metaphor or anything. I mean, really, to me, Judas is quite simply a song about being torn. And it's interesting that when Twilight does it, it's okay. But as soon as you bring in a religious element, bang, it's awful, it's evil, what are you doing, oh my god. And just accept that it's a metaphor like any other, and it's just religion as a platform. Religion has always provided a platform because it is such a powerful catalyst, and you can draw parallels and use metaphor for storytelling, and it's always been the case. So you just sort of need to get a bit grown up about it and understand that people are intelligent and can read between the lines more than you can, it would appear. You being the people who are moaning and complaining about it. Eminem, I mean, he famously said, he quite enjoys, I think it was Marilyn Manson or Eminem, one of the two, said the reason they do it is because it's so easy. Why do we push your buttons? Well, it's so easy to do. Stop letting us get away with it. It's like a school ground bully. They'll stop and I'm not saying that I want them to stop, but I'm pointing out the redundancy of reacting so badly to these things. As I say, I think we need to get over it, because it's not just music. It's in every walk of entertainment. You've had comedians. To name a few, you got Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Dave Allen, Bill Hicks, and George Carlin. Now, there's some of my favourite comedians in there, and they're all infamous, for certain jokes and for saying certain things and for going against the grain and having messages that, and having complaints and all sorts. But we don't seem to focus on that too much. Cinema, since the inception of making videos, you had the video nasties in the 80s. You have gore porn, you have gore porn, so torture porn, and you have all these shocking, nasty horrors and really, really bad stuff, and even like writers. I mean, D.H. Lawrence, Marquis de Sade, the Marquis de Sade, and William Shakespeare are among of their time, and at their point in the grand scheme of things, they were edgy, subversive people. They were writing. I mean, the Marquis de Sade is still. I mean, you read some of that, and it is incredibly shocking. And even to the Bible, I must say, have a proper read of the Bible and tell me that there's not some shocking stuff in there. You take it as you see it, and you read into it what you want. And I think it's about time people grew up and just sort of got over this whole you're corrupting our kids' minds thing, because they're not. It always has been there. These reactions have always been there, and while you're reacting to it, you're giving the artist the ammunition. You're making their point for them, and you're publicising them more. Just stop reacting. Stop caring about it. The reaction should be, oh, Lady Gaga's made a ridiculously over the top video that in which she dances around as Lady Magdalene, and let's just all move on. Don't give the react. If you don't want to, the more fuel you throw on the fire, the greater the fire gets, and until you stop doing it, artists will continue to do it. You even have magicians like Penn and Teller who actually incorporate darkness and shock into their act. Shock has been part of entertainment. In every corner of art and entertainment, you'll find shocking material. And we're grown up enough to sort of just be able to deal with it. John Lennon's death can be blamed on a book. If we're going to continue to be silly about it, literature has caused an incredible amount of trouble, and yet strangely, because it's words and it's I guess it's not in your face, people don't really talk about it as much. But books have gone on trial. People writing words that people choose to read and have a reaction to. They either like it or they don't like it. You're either shocked by it or you're not shocked by it. But it's just stupid to keep reacting this way over and over. Oh, I'm Christian and I don't agree with this, that and the other. Well, don't listen to the song then. Don't watch the videos. But trust me, people aren't being corrupted. You view this thing with all this fear, when actually it's just a bit of entertainment. And trust me, in a little way down the line, it'll be forgotten, and it'll be the next thing. And people will just move on. People have intelligence, and as I say, if you haven't got the frame of reference for it, I guess it can be hard. But you need to understand that the audience who it's aimed at tend to be more clued in than I think you give credit for. So just let's stop the whining, and everything's up for commentary, and everything's up for satire, and an artist can say or do what they want. Whether you listen or not, whether you watch or not, is kind of to your discretion. And, no one's holding a gun to your head and telling you to watch or listen to it. But don't start telling other people, you shouldn't be seeing this, you shouldn't be hearing this, this is corrupting you, this is evil, you're, worst ways, you're going to hell, and all this stuff, because we're not. So, anyway, that's that. See you later.